always trying to push boundaries, and for a sport that we care so much about, all of us and hopefully people listening, we've got to find new ways to kind of pioneer the sport of how it's always been perceived, how it's always been watched, how it's always been interacted, from the athletes, the coaches, the fans, and beyond. So the whole mission really for the international side of things was to create an event that athletes really look forward to in the year. And I can't really name one event other than, championships and trials where you qualify for the, Olympics or whatever it's going to be, that I'm actually excited for, because, there's not much really going on. There's not much kind of innovation in those events. So yeah, the AP Race London International is an event where we put a huge amount of resources, money, time, energy, thinking, and always kind of improving what we did last year. So yes, this year was very, very successful. We had a big cohort of US juniors come over as well, which was incredible to host and also see how they race in the London Olympic Park, which is, I'm sure you've got loads of memories. Actually, you were 0408.
04, I know, sorry. But I've heard, I have so many really good friends that talk about how epic that pool is. So I'm jealous.
It's incredible. And it's 3 meters deep. It's like, there's no pool I don't think like it in the world, where you just get this aura of, you walk in and you see the ceiling, you see the pool, and you dive in, and it's just so fast. But anyway, we built this event around, because we could have done it and it would have cost us half, if not, even less. But we're like, if it's our flagship event, we're going to go to London. We're going to give people the best show that they deserve in this country. And, obviously people and athletes are starting to get traction now, where they come in from abroad as well. So yeah, it was incredible. The Jorts race went down a big hit as well. But that's the entertainment value. We've got to be willing to push that side as athletes to be entertaining, because, especially in America, you'll see sports like NFL, NBA, the show does it for them. The athletes only have to, compete, and we'll get the Olympic Games. We really struggle. I still believe we struggle at World Championships to have that entertainment value. But again, hopefully something, is going to change this one or the next one. And it's just about the innovation now and, really pushing the sport as a whole.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, as swim nerds, we all think kind of naturally like, oh, well, the sport's amazing, right? But for people on the outside, they're like, what? I just see people swimming up and down the pool. So adding that entertainment factor, while sometimes it may feel like, is this silly? Is this weird? Like it's a home run, because the average Joe Schmo walking down the street is like, oh, that's cool. I'll pay attention to that. And then you bring them in, and then they can start to appreciate what a world record looks like and what true excellence is. When did you know that you were going to start something like this? Because it's been 3 years now.
Probably 2021, 2022, because you've touched on it there that, especially in the American market, they go all in on the Olympics, and the same as the UK, but what's going to fill that gap?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the AP Race London International is going to fill that gap to that extent, but at least we can do a little thing here and there. I know it's not a little thing, it's huge, but for us, it's, creating that traction and telling these stories of all these athletes whilst we're going for that quad Olympic cycle, and trying to keep that traction and trying to keep that interest as fluid and as frictionless as possible. So that's kind of what we're doing, as a brand worldwide now. And, eventually in the next 10 years, we want to have international events across the globe. So yeah, it's we are doing that, and we are addressing that. Yeah, what is a fast swimmer? What is entertaining? What is is it their personalities, or is it the racing, or is it the stroke style? Is it the strategy? Because I know what that is, but I've also done it for 20 years plus. Yeah. But we need newcomers in the sport who can really easily pick it up.
Right.
And again, you're not going to be involved in something financially or emotionally if it's not entertaining. So I think athletes have got to do a lot more to really push themselves out there.
Yeah, are you having conversations with some of your friends? Like, Chalmers was just on, and I hear you have signed his leg in a tattoo, which we'll get into. But imagine each kind of big name from Australia, from the US, from China, each person. I feel like you truly are, like you said, like the pioneer of really rolling out something at this magnitude. And I know for a fact that you guys make it look easy, but the behind the scenes and the operational side must be immense. How involved are you in that? And what have you learned about yourself being this entrepreneur now?
Well, we've got I have an incredible co-founder, Ed Baxter, who does the day-to-day operations of the company, so CEO role. So he basically lives in Saudi Arabia because we have a network of swimming academies in Saudi Arabia. We're obviously looking to expand that into multiple countries as well. And that will help support everything we do around the globe to a certain extent, but also we do the clinics. We have, I think it's 45 full-time staff members or 47.
Wow.
It keeps changing, but around that, full-time staff members that we employ, in various countries. And, the international event, the London International event, for example, wouldn't be possible without that team, more specifically Ed Baxter, who is doing that day to day, making sure everyone's doing the right things, but also holding up the standards, of an Olympic champion, because you don't want to get to an event where there's no official. You don't want to get to an event where there's no organisation or no music or no, food or, all the tiny details. And I can't do that day to day because I'm still training.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when you're in that training zone, you don't really have much energy because you're putting absolutely everything into whether that's the heart rate sets or the VO2 or even the A1 aerobic set. You're still thinking so much, and then you've got the gym on top of that. Then we've got our own sponsors. Then we have a family. So, you have all these responsibilities, and none of this would have been possible without the incredible team we have at AP Race. But at the same time, I'm still involved. I still do, day clinics, for example. I still go where I'm needed, but that's up to Ed to decide where I'm needed and most effective, because there's only one rule I have. If I'm going to be effective, I'll do it. If I'm not going to be effective, then it's really a struggle for me to be there. So effectiveness is a huge thing for us to make sure we have maximum impact or outputs for my time where it's needed.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you talk about better than yesterday kind of being really the theme or the kind of marking the culture of AP. Where does that come from? And then, why is it so important?
It was actually a phone call during COVID that I had with Ed, because we realised where we were going just domestically. So in the United Kingdom, we were like, okay, these clinics are really successful in terms of uptake. People want it. It's a huge gap in the market, and we deliver it the best we possibly can. And I truly believe we have the best team in the world to do that. And, the better than yesterday when we had this phone call was perfect, because you'll have kids in there, and we'll see 170 kids a day. Some tours you're doing 10 days in a row, all around the country. But realistically, even if you get 1% of those kids, even less than that, make an Olympics, that's obviously hugely successful. But what happens to the other 99%? Sport is an incredible vehicle to really educate and give kids so much more than they would have had if they didn't do sport. Learning how to goal set, learning how to win, learning how to lose, emotional intelligence, and all these incredible things that we get from sport. So yeah, it's really down to, actually, you don't have to be an Olympian to define success in sport.